Go ahead and kick us off, buddy. This is number 101.
Well, we are over 100 now.
Last episode of the season.
Yeah.
We do 101 per season.
We try to do around 101 episodes per season. That's Tyler Perry does that as well. Us and Tyler Perry. Well, man, who we got in the studio with us? They tell us who you are, what you do at Village Caregiving, a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Josh Early. I am the Chief of Staff at Village Caregiving. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, calm down.
That's right.
Everybody's excited.
I know. Big day.
Yeah. Well, I'm originally from Proctorville, which is just across the river.
Okay. Proctor Vegas is what they like to call it.
That's right. That's right. Moved to Bartlesville about 10 years ago. Family. Got 3 kids, wife.
Wow. 3 kids, wife.
3 kids, yeah.
Cool.
A couple of Southern Ohio natives.
Yeah. So you were born and raised in Proctorville.
I was, yeah.
You was a Fairland Dragon.
I was through middle school, and then I went to Grace Christian over here in Huntington for high school.
I got
You ever hear of a high school called Green?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
That's his high school.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We were in different. We were in SOC. You guys were something else.
Yeah.
He ended up going to Grace,
I'll be honest. I went to Ohio University
I
and
got you.
did some observation in student teaching when I was getting a teaching degree.
Yeah.
In Green. So
Yeah.
I've been to that.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
you've been to Franklin Furnace.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
You're probably really impressed with it and stuff.
I forget, what is Green's team mascot
Or
name?
Bobcats.
Bobcats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like
Yeah.
OU.
Yeah, Bobcats.
There you go.
There
They were the Dragons at Fairland. We were the Bobcats in Franklin Furnace.
Josh, were they doing any bowling at Green whenever you were there on your internship?
I don't remember.
He founded the bowling team at the
He
high
did?
school.
Okay.
That was a true statement, not because I was a good bowler. Boy. Josh, let me ask you a couple questions. Hey, how old are you?
Are you allowed to ask
Yep,
that
I am.
question?
I don't think so.
Is that
It's 101 episodes. I can ask whatever I want.
I am 42.
Okay. All right. So you were 83?
83.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're still both considerably younger than Jeff. So I'm 85. I'm getting ready to turn 40. I just had to sit through a podcast a couple episodes ago, him talking about how handsome his beard is. I'm like, oh, boy. It's basically a direct quote. You can go back and watch it.
No, it's not. What do you think about this white beard I got?
Yeah. It's very handsome.
Scraggly.
Yeah, it's like it's like you've got some wisdom, like people respect your.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
This
really
is-
just laziness. I'm not trying to make a fashion statement, but
I brought that up for an insult, and somehow you turn it in. It's fine.
yeah, he was going somewhere with how old I am. See how we turned it around
Well,
on it?
you're talking to a bald guy. So
Yeah, I got
I've been
you.
hearing those things for a long time.
I got you. So you were like class of 02-ish?
Yeah, 01.
It's 01. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So, well, cool. I always try to figure out kind of where you were in life, where I was in life. Sometimes, we talk about we were talking on, I think it was with Jackie Reynolds' podcast, like, how did you know, or maybe we was talking about this beforehand, how did you know that, like, the kid in your group, they came from a wealthy family? And she was like, if they had, like, Fruit Loops and a squeezed drink, that meant Jeff's was, if they had the TV in the kitchen, that was a sign of like extreme wealth.
That's sharp.
What, when you were a kid and you went to your buddy's, maybe you were the house that they went to. It's like maybe your parents was rolling in dough. How did you, class of 01, say that kid's got it?
I came from a very blue collar house, so we were. My dad worked in the mill, but we I would say if you think about like Nintendo type stuff, like
The
what
gaming
type
console.
of gaming console and what type of TV they had set up, like
Yeah.
if you had like the screen that was a little more modernized and
I
not
got
the
you.
boxed wooden box, TVs that
Furniture. Some of them had furniture with a
dating
television
ourselves here.
inside of it. Yeah.
You know, another one I was thinking of is, now this is different. You might not relate, but if you ever went to a friend's house and you would walk downstairs to the lower level, like the basement,
Yeah.
except it was like carpeted and nice still. It was just more house. I was like, what is going on down here? This is crazy. This is all my house.
Yeah.
There's more house.
Yeah. Extra house.
hidden.
And it smelled good down there.
Yeah.
The carpet was always like more fluffy and shampooed That with if they had a tiny little TV in the kitchen, you knew that those people were doing really well.
I got one. Now, this still works to today, okay? Make fun of me if you want. If I go to a house and they have Bath and Body Works hand soap in the bathroom, I'm like, good Lord, all right, let us know where the Mercedes is parked. You know? I mean, it's like if they went to the mall you can't get that anywhere else except at that store. That's a very specific trip over there. That's a big deal. That's a flex is what the kids would say.
I kind of would like to run down a list of questions today because normally we get on here and we be kind of silly and stuff, but I would like to ask you some serious things.
Okay.
Hope that's okay.
Sure.
I mean, not that serious, but just not to where we end up telling jokes for 40 straight minutes.
Let's get into religion and politics if you like.
No. So Josh is the chief of staff. You said that. And that's a new role that we've created.
Yes.
At Village Caregiving. Obviously not new to the business world, but for us it's new. And so we're feeling our way through what that looks like exactly, what those duties are. First off, what are you doing day-to-day duties so far? Have you started to find a rhythm with that?
I think so. Day-to-day has been a lot of different things. From like today, I was in meetings this morning, so I'm in a lot of the meetings, as you all know, whether it's ops with sales or with compliance. I'm sitting in on all those so that I know what's going on in all those areas, planning the campus meetings. So if we're doing like a lunch or our monthly, campus meeting, I'm doing the planning of the regional meetings that are coming up later in April, annual. So making phone calls, trying to set stuff up for those.
Those are a ton of work.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot of, no, you're good. It's a lot of big picture stuff. So it's a lot of coordination. Just
coordination on the campus, the new construction.
Yeah, we're working through that. Yeah, ordering furniture for the new. Today I put a couple chairs together before I came over here.
Did you really?
Yeah. So just whatever needs to be done, jump in and get it done.
Car wash
stuff for sure. We've kind of revamped that here in the last couple ones that we've done, and so that's take a lot of different coordination, working with a team of folks there on campus that we have.
Talk about that really quickly for those listening that might not know what it is. Not a literal car wash.
No, we're not. Yeah. So we're bringing folks in from new executive directors right now, or new liaison we have starting soon. Bringing them through a car wash, which consists of just onboarding stuff, whether it's through ADP. Compliance, we got a team of people that we've assembled, one from HR, one from marketing. Chris Atkins is involved with that, and Kristen Donnie has helped out. So a lot of different departments coming together to create an experience for the new directors. So as they come in, they can see what we're about, what our culture is, that we like to work hard, play hard, and so we just try to involve them in a lot of those different aspects. And then also some informational, right? Aaron does some history of the company. They meet with Ben Keenan for the mindset. They meet with Corey Watson, and then obviously with you. And we just try to get a face-to-face with a lot of the top-level, type things. And we do a campus lunch. We do Mike Meadows does Mike's Trivia, which has been a big hit.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of fun, a new wrinkle. And it's been a great experience to see what we're about and then go to their office and kind of implement that same mindset.
Yeah. So right out of the gate, what I hear a lot of is just like making things happen.
That's right.
There have to be some people in any kind of organization, like everybody can go to meetings, everybody can have ideas. There's normally, like, I've heard former President Obama talk about this. There are only some people, though, that actually do stuff. And when you find people that are really good at that, value that like nobody's business. And you're that way, too. Really just action-oriented. It's not like I'm going to pass this off to somebody else. Like, yep, I'll get that done. And then it gets done perfectly. Yeah. And I've seen that already. So, yeah, thank you. What about, how's it been so far? At Village Caregiving, how does it compare to, other places that you've worked throughout your life? Not that it's better or worse, just different, I guess.
No, it's been great. It's been a great adjustment. So I came from a steel mill, worked in the mill for several years, over 10 years. Got into sales, was in sales, and that whole, constant chasing after the next sale, never rest, just a different mentality. But I learned a lot of things in that. This experience has been different in just the sense that it's like a lot of hospitality, like you're saying, executing. It's just been great. I feel like a lot of things that I was doing in sales, meeting with customers, doing dinners, doing a lot of those things have really translated over to what I'm doing now. And, I feel like detail oriented. So I want to make sure that one of the things is, with chief of staff, I feel like you got to be able to see things before they happen, make sure that what are we getting ourselves into, and maybe kind of reroute before we run into problems. So.
Okay. One more, and then I'm going to pass the baton.
Sure.
What is the biggest surprise you've had since you started working here?
Biggest surprise. I think it's been the work-life balance, the value that the company puts on that. Just spending time with family, working hard, like I said, but involving them, like in the annual event, we got to be together, with the meeting. I basically went to Orlando, met everyone new, which felt like a sales call, honestly. Like that's what I did on the road pretty regularly. But being able to have the family with me and just feel like that balance between work and life at home has been a surprise.
Good. I'm glad we lived up to that, because we really talk a lot about it, and the flexibility and the hours and the job and stuff like that. So I'm glad you've had that experience.
Yeah.
What in your kind of your ramp up to Village Caregiving, as you've joined the company, and I think we talked fairly early on that, like, you have this whole, you got to figure out what we do, what do we do, still home care. What is that thing? And then how do we do it? What makes us so unique? And you were in a situation where you came to a really dynamic campus, right? You come over, we're in multiple buildings. There's a lot of new people, a lot of new roles, new programs, new things happening. There hasn't, I remember at one point Ben was joking, and we were like, I think that after this we can catch our breath. And then it was like, well, as soon as this is over, we're going to catch our breath. And finally it was like, we're understanding this is just how it is, right? Like this is our new baseline. We're just going to operate at this level. Yeah. And it's awesome. And, it's obviously quick moving. How has that been for you? I mean, 10 years at a still company, you obviously knew it well. You spend, as intelligent you are, you spend a decade somewhere. What's that transition been like for you?
It's been difficult at times. There's a lot of details, a lot of things that are happening in these meetings, early on, that I just kind of sit back and listen and try to take it in. Just getting so when I started working, or before I came to work at Village Caregiving, I thought that it was just a local office there that was just one like the one you see from the street, right? And then it's like, wow, no, we're hidden in all these different buildings, and we've taken over the castle. We got a new building that we're building. And so for me, it's like trying to get as much information and understand as much as I can, because part of like the car wash, the way you talked about, we actually do a campus tour. And one of the things I did at the mill was a tour, because I was out in the mill for so long. I worked in every department, from melting it down, casting it, to rolling it, cutting it. I mean, I pretty much did everything in that time. And one of the main things was making sure that people understood like the process, right? So you go through all the things. So one of the things I like to do is come outside the castle there and like point across the street, show them all the areas that we're in, because most people don't realize that. And whether you're coming here from out of town or you're just driving by there every day, taking your kids to school, like people do not understand the size. And so, that's been it's been good, but it's taken some time. And I feel like I still got a lot to learn. So,
yeah.
What do we have? 40 or 50 employees tucked away in various offices around the corners there of Barbersville? Something like that.
It's over.
I think it's like 40 something.
Yeah.
As you said, you had some kids, you guys are a part of the Barbersville community there. What was Village Caregiving in Barbersville? We had the mayor come down this year and speak at the annual meeting, but what role did you see Village Caregiving playing in the local community as a whole?
Well, I tell you where I saw it the most is on the ball field. A lot of the sponsorships on the side of the school there at the playground. There was a big banner there. So to me, I mean, I have both my boys are in Little League. Played in state championship last year. The oldest 12-year-old. So like that's to me, it was always a sponsorship, and that you guys valued the family and valued kids, and so that's kind of what it was perceived as. And I don't know that I know a few people that worked for the company there locally, but I didn't know much about it beforehand. It's just that they give to the community in that sense. For sure.
I got you. What's it like working with Jeff every day, you think?
It's good. I enjoy it.
He said it's good.
I do.
It is good. I'll give you the ultimate compliment. I am not just saying this. It's going to sound like I'm just, kissing up or something. But so we meet up for lunch, and really no particular position in mind. But this chief of staff role was something that we have had kicking around for a long time, and there's been some other folks that we were very close to getting that position, to be honest. But, you had some contacts inside the company. There were other roles that perhaps could have worked out, right? So Austin Stevens said, you're going to want to meet with Josh, because I'm telling you, like, we don't want to just not bring him on the team. And so I promised myself, I had been so bad, and I've told Josh this, I had been so bad about already making up my mind about what role they should do. And really, what makes more sense to me is I should get to know their skill set, see what they want to do, talk more. Right, so we had lunch there in town, and I promised myself, like, don't make any commitments. Don't pigeonhole anything. Don't talk about any specific role. Just talk about the company, what we're like, what it could be about. And I, 30 minutes into lunch, I just put my head in my hands, and I was like, he probably thinks I'm insane. I was like, I promised myself I wasn't going to do this, but there is this one job that you would be so perfect for. And we just started talking about it. But anyways, what I was saying I was going to be really nice is such a, not only really excellent at your job, but just a genuinely good human being, to the point where this means so much to me. I get a little choked up. I will go home and tell Sarah, I'm going to become a better person just because I'm around him all day long. That is how good. When you say, what's it like being with him? I mean that. Thank you. It's genuinely an honor.
That's nice of you to say. It makes what I said seem a little, it's good. That's what I said.
I had to warm up you there.
Yeah, you did.
Well, it's because I don't deserve that much praise.
Stand by it, Josh. Stand by it. All right, just own it.
I do have a question. Even right now, you're so, you exude this level of calmness. And just because a lot of people, not that there's anything to be nervous about recording this, but still, it's out of your comfort zone. You got a mic in your face. There's a camera pointed at us. It's a little weird, and people will be nervous. Mm-hmm. I get the sense that you are the just calmest cucumber that anybody's ever going to meet. You know what I mean, Aaron? He's just like a very grounded, calm soul. How? Where does that come from? What do you do to continue to... in what ways are you trying to grow as a person? Is what I said even true? And kind of
I think my wife may disagree a little bit. I mean, there's some times in our lives where pressure's turned up and things are more difficult. But I feel like I'm just grounded in my faith, and just my dad is kind of the same way. He just at a baseline is very happy, and I feel like I've inherited some of that from him. Just I don't know, just a peacefulness. Thinking that everything's going to be okay, which my wife sometimes says that's a little naive. I just, yeah.
Does she offset you? Is she an opposite of that in some ways?
She's a little, yeah. She is a little opposite of me, yes.
How long have you guys been together?
15 years.
15 years, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's useful. I know, right? So I want to be more like that. Everything's going to be okay. And frankly, if it turns out not to be, I can't control it right now anyway. Yeah. So why am I going to sit here and just fret myself silly about it? But that's easier said than done. Sometimes I really struggle with that. So I'm envious of that characteristic. What is something that you're working on right now to get better at in order to continue to develop in life or professionally. You know, it's all kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. I'm trying to be a better listener. I feel like a lot of times I try to like quickly jump in and just try to fix things and not really sit back and listen and take it all in, which plays itself out in a million ways, right? With my kids, with my wife, at work. And so that's been something I've tried really hard to do and not just respond, which is what I want to do.
Right.
Oh, I can fix this because this.
That's the problem-solving side that I was talking about. Like, there are people that can fix stuff and take action and do things right away. Mm-hmm. It's such a challenge to want to just be more patient with that. Listen, ask more questions, because you are just like, immediately, I've been here before. I know what to do. I can fix this. Right. Do this.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
Yeah, it is.
Well, good luck with your listening exercises.
Do you find with that personality, hey, let me ask, do you agree with what he's saying about, as he's describing your personality and your ability to just jump in, and you're more of a solutions person, you're an active person and solving things. Yeah. Do you find that leads in your personality to a overcommitment, or too often signing up for the wrong thing, or being too involved, or you're at Little League and they're like, oh, we got this problem. You're like, I got it. I'll do lawn care as well. And then you're over here and you're like, no, I got that. Then there's not enough hours in the day. I mean, do you find there's times, I think, where you just take on a lot, right? That's just the nature of the thing, and you want to be as helpful. But other times I found part of the maturing process has been to just kind of be like, I got to avoid that. I know if I raise my hand, I'm going to be doing lawn care all summer long over there. I don't have time, right? Yeah. Do you find that you run into that as you have to personally hold back from commitment?
I think, yes. What I feel like, we've had to set boundaries and say no, and that's hard. That's hard for me. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely feel that. I feel like that, with age, with, maturity, I guess. In my 30s, I would have been much more apt to say yes to everything. And now that I'm in my 40s, it's just changed. It's just, and once you have 3 kids, I mean, you can't say yes to everything. So,
sure.
I do try to say yes to my kids though, which is a little bit of a, and boys want to go to the field. Okay.
Talk about your family just a little bit. They'll probably listen to this or see this.
Sure. So my oldest son is 12. He'll be 13 the end of this month. We have the same birth date, March 28th. So that's kind of a cool. He was born on the same day. My younger son is 10. He'll be 11 in May. Both love sports, and they love baseball the most. One of the things interesting, like the oldest kind of took on the little league side of the baseball side of it during COVID, because he was at that age where where there was nothing going on with life. Like, you couldn't gather at church on Sundays. You couldn't do anything. I went to the mill every day, but most jobs were remote. Most things were different. But we could go and sit at a baseball field all weekend with our families under our own canopy. Yeah. And then they were able to go out and play baseball. So they just basically fell in love with the game, both of them. And now they're just, it's a lot of what we do. My daughter has just got into the cheer competitions. She did a couple. She is 7. And she's getting into that cheer stuff, but she's had a story. I say she's the most famous early because she had a bone marrow transplant at 6 months old.
Oh wow!
And that was quite the adventure for our family. Yeah. But everyone knew who she was locally, and
it's one of the most incredible stories, maybe literally the most that I've ever heard, because what happened to her is it one of the only time or two in the history of the world that this has occurred? I'm not joking around. I don't know if you can tell the story in
the quick version.
I mean, it's a 30-minute story. Yeah, and to retell it, dude, I'm telling you, if you go home and try to tell Danielle this story, you will start crying while you tell it. I know from experience, unfortunately. Can you tell a quick version?
I think so. So she was born with an IL-10 deficiency, and basically that's the part of your body that will flip on to fight infection, right? It fights foreign things. So she was born with that just on part of her DNA. It was just, she just couldn't, so if she ate milk, it would just, her body was fighting it. And to the point where we had her in the hospital here locally for a week, and they sent us to Cincinnati Children's. And they didn't know what they were going to, like, they couldn't figure out what it was. They had her with a GI doctor because it presented itself in that way. Sure. And they ended up doing, sent us home for Thanksgiving that year, said, have a good Thanksgiving, family of 5. This is probably going to be it. And so that was like the hardest thing ever. Because I remember the first time we put her in the car and we drove out James Drive in Barboursville, like we got our family. I felt this like we have our family together, all 5 of us. Like, you know, we've gotten to that point. Our family's complete. And then like we're going to lose her like a few months later. So that while we're there from Thanksgiving to Christmas, when they were supposed to go back, they call and they said, we figured out what it was because they had done a lot of blood tests. And they figured out that it was the IL-10 receptor was malfunctioned and she needs a bone marrow transplant. So immediately everybody goes to work. Like we partnered with Be the Match, which is still a thing that they go out and will get donations. Like basically it's just a swab in your mouth. And if you're a match to someone else's, DNA, then they will do a bone marrow, take it out of your bone and transfuse, but she had to go through chemo. My wife was in isolation with her for 6 months. No one could go. Kids couldn't go. We moved her into an apartment outside the hospital there in Cincinnati on our 10th wedding anniversary. And I just had to say, see you later. I couldn't touch her. I mean, it was very isolated for a long time. Then the boys were up there with them the whole summer. And, but they did the transfusion. They found a match in Europe. And they had looked in Germany. Right? Had looked everywhere. Yes, everyone locally. Like we raised, I think over 700 tests or donors were added just here locally from our drive particularly. And they found somebody in Germany that we've never met. Had to go. They put you to sleep, and it's a big, big ordeal. And they flew it over. You got to do it within 24 hours. And it was in a tube about that big. And they put that in. She had a chest tube at the time, and they put that in. And then we just had to wait and see. And basically, you're 50% mom, 50% dad. And so at that point, you're hoping that 50% donor, 50% original, right? And if donor stays above 50, she's good. And that's so far, it's
the way that the transplant takes in the body. You have to hope that the German marrow donation is the one that kind of wins out, and stays her over 50%. Yes. And if it doesn't, then you're still looking for another donor, I suppose.
Yes.
And the condition, the ILT10,
IL-10.
IL-10. Yeah. Okay, so that was like the only one.
It was the first documented case. There were 5 other cases they thought overseas. 3 were kind of wrote about, but nothing specific. And now she's in like the textbooks in Boston. Like we had to give permission and all.
Can you believe that? She's still being written about. Yeah. This is like an episode of House come to real life.
Absolutely,
truly.
And the one thing I'll say is there's 2 ways that typically kids that do have a isolation period like that for whatever reason. They're either very introvert, don't have anything to do with anyone, or they're extrovert, like to the 10th. And that's my daughter. She doesn't know strangers. She is very chatty and full of life, and it's just amazing. We just February 28th was her 7th year from that day of the donor. So it was on her 6th month to the day she got that done, and it was 7 years ago, this last February. So
how about amazing. That? And was sent home at 6 months, very, very younger than 6 months, and just be comfortable. Mm-hmm. That was the prognosis, and then here we sit. Yeah. And she's I've met her. She's the funnest, like most outgoing little kid. Awesome.
Yeah.
And you said she's doing cheer competition and stuff, so she's completely restored to a normal, healthy, happy life. She
can't go, and there's a few restrictions as far as like weird like porta potties, can't swim in a lake, you can't,
that's honestly good advice.
I mean, right? Like we should all
don't swim in lakes, don't go to porta potties. Danielle has those same rules for our kids.
Yes.
That's just generally speaking.
Yeah. So
it's an incredible thanks for this. Sometime we got to hear the version where it's like every little detail, because there were just some twists and turns where it looks like it's not going to work. I guess it'd be a movie. Yeah. And it all just worked out. It's such a beautiful story, man.
Yeah,
I don't know how you talk about it as well as you do without getting emotional, because it's an emotional story.
Yeah. If you want the full version, my wife would be the one. She lived it. I mean, she's yeah, it's incredible, really.
Well, so what do you guys, your 3 kids and wife, what do you do in your free time? How do you got hobbies?
Man, I mean, baseball is our life. I feel like a lot of the time it's sports. We are our family's part of a church plant here in Barbersville, so we've been involved with that from the beginning, which was also during COVID. Mercy Village Church is where we attend, and man, we just they spend a lot of time outside. That's really what they like to do, and
yeah, very outdoorsy family.
Yes.
What about you specifically?
Me specifically.
When you're alone, I mean, do you have any kind of little things you tinker with?
In the words
Building
of
model cars? I mean, I don't know.
If you think of Vince Lombardi, always said it was God, family, and the Green Bay Packers. So I'm a Packers fan. I don't really tinker with cars, but I got we're remodeling our second house. This is the second house in a row that we're always have something going on at the house and remodel and doing something. So it's kind of
big Jordan Love fan.
Yeah, I'm still like I'm in, but he's not Favre Rodgers, I don't think, but
he's got to take one more step to get you. Okay,
yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah,
but they do look good.
Yeah,
I saw where somebody predicted the other day in the Super Bowl the Packers and the Bills.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Now, that's a bold prediction. And should that happen, should my Bills face your Packers, let me tell you, it's good news for you. We don't win many Super Bowls, okay? Got another question, Aaron?
No.
Okay. What would you be most proud of to accomplish in your career? It's a tough question. That's a tough on-the-spot question.
That is a tough question. I think I've always just hoped to be a man of integrity, and like at the end of my career, like look back and, I mean, obviously not going to be perfect, but make the right decisions most of the time. And so I think just to look back on the career and know that I've done my best. I mean, that's a really cheesy answer, but
no, it's not. It's a great answer. What do you think is the most important part of being a leader / manager?
I think you got to lead by example. I think you got to do the work, and others see you kind of follow that lead. I think that's the most important part. You can be a good listener, makes you a good leader. Obviously, we talked about that, but
and integrity goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah.
But don't ask people to do something you're not willing to do yourself, right? I mean, lead by example.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, it's your turn, or I'm going to go in this box of dump.
I think, yeah.
You want me to?
I think.
Why don't you host this time?
Let me ask you guys.
He's a better host than I am, anyway.
There's been some things that, I don't know if you know this or not, Josh, but
for those just listening, by the way, as Aaron takes cards, this is a little board game called Dumb Questions to Ask Your Friends.
Yeah. This is a good question, I think, for both of you. This is something I've been wondering as well. If you were in the middle of karaoke, okay, which is not, do you karaoke? If you're in the middle of karaoke and the door opens and the celebrity walks in, what celebrity you hoping is walking in that door to do karaoke with?
Oh, for me, that's easy. That's Lady Gaga. Okay. I'm all in on Gaga.
Yeah.
I'm getting to duet with Gaga.
That's
boy. Sarah would be so jealous.
She would not be happy about
not
that.
because of me doing it with her. She would just wish she were me doing it with Lady Gaga.
100%.
What's your answer?
I'm thinking like when you said karaoke, I'm thinking Achy Breaky Heart and Garth Brooks or Billy Ray. One of those. Like I don't know.
Huge. I mean,
me.
If I would probably say George Strait. Just to have, I mean, Garth is phenomenal, but to have a George Strait duet in karaoke would be a goal for sure.
That'd be cool.
Okay, that's good answers.
I kind of liked
Garth. I mean, you can't argue with that.
No, if you do that.
Achy Breaky Heart, that's kind of funny, but I'll tell you what, I'd pay a lot of money to see you guys doing that.
Well, you may not have to. You never the way he sets up activities. Oh, my Lord, this one says write your own.
You a Miley Cyrus fan? I like that last album.
Hey, here's this.
Okay.
0 to 10.
Mm-hmm. We can't get this wrong.
How romantic are you? 0 is, what date is Valentine's Day again? 10 is, I have 1-800-Flowers on speed dial. 0 to 10.
I have a feeling like Josh is going to beat me in the romantic category. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, here's the thing about this. Honestly, I adore my wife. Like, I really do. She tells me I'm pretty thoughtful, but I don't. I feel like I let her down on that. I let myself down. I don't feel like I do a good job of it. Like, it's not as much as I should. I mean, if it's Valentine's Day, I do more than some guys. I mean, I'm trying to get a surprise gift. I send flowers. I take her to dinner. I try to be a little bit extra nice, but I'm not like, you know, you met some of your friends. They're constantly like writing poetry and they're doing like making a record. I recorded a song for you. Like, I don't go those like extra miles.
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel like I procrastinate a lot with that stuff, which is bad.
I know. Look, you saw me this Valentine's Day. I was running out that morning getting the flowers. I did put them together myself in a vase. Now I get credit for that, but procrastination was bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You ever done anything like super special for Faith?
Oh man, we've went on trips before. A lot of times, gifted is like trips that we've done. We did a trip up to Maine and up in that area once. That was really special before we had 3 kids. And then when the third one got here, it's like everything kind of got more difficult.
You can't travel with them. I mean, now just other towns are seeing the dysfunction of your family. Right? I saw a meme the other day. It's like, yeah, let's travel so we can let the neighbors in other towns hear us fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, Sarah's so cool about it, and we have so many similar interests. Sometimes I might get like tickets to like a game or a concert that are equally just as much a gift for myself as her, and then her gift is like little pills that you can take the capsule apart, and it has little scrolls inside that she's written our happiest moments, and I'm like, I suck.
It's very similar.
Right.
On average, how many hours of sleep do you guys get per night? I feel like this is going to be a very different number. Average amount of sleep per night.
I go 7, 8 is what I like to get.
I'm probably more around like 6, maybe 6.5, maybe. Yeah. It's more than it used to be. I'm getting better. Hey, let me ask you a real question, because Leanne will watch this. When she was on here, the question was, how often do you wash your jeans? And she said every day. I said like once every few months. It was really awful. How often do you wash your blue jeans?
Probably every week or 2.
Okay,
not every day.
That's a reasonable answer.
Not every day, but I don't.
Every week or 2. And how often do you think you wear them in that week or 2?
Probably twice a week.
Okay, so you'd get 4 wears before they go in the washer.
Yeah, I think so.
I bet I wear them at least like 8 times.
Really?
It
also depends on what you're doing too, right? Yeah.
This one says, name a famous person you wish you had gone to school with. Do you think that, like, when people are like, oh, I went to school with, and you name the person, right? I was in school with Russell Crowe. And you're like, oh, wow. Or like this morning on the Today Show, someone had passed away, and they were like, my parents went to school with her. Both my parents went to the same high school as her. She was so nice. I didn't go to school with a single I mean, it's not shocking. Very small school, but you think it's like, let's say that it's Miley Cyrus. You go to the same high school as Miley Cyrus. I mean, if you see her at a world tour, it's not like Miley. She's like, oh my God, we did lunch together.
I don't have a strong answer for that question because who cares? Really?
I think it would be cool.
What would it do for you?
I think Will Ferrell would be a good one, because I heard him talk about how he would come into the class and like pretend to be somebody that he wasn't, obviously like a janitor. And he like, somebody said that they vomited in this room, and the teacher's like, no. Like, I think that it would have just been constant funny, but like only to where he's like, only 1 or 2 people in the room knew what the joke was, right? Like everyone else was kind of.
That is an absolutely fantastic answer to that question, because anything else, you're just kind of like trying to latch to a star. That answer right there, you're right. He would have actually made lifelong memories for you that were awesome.
Being around him.
Yeah.
That's the gosh,
there you go.
why didn't I come up with that?
Oh, on average, how many hours of music do you think you listen to per day? I mean, hours of music is a lot, but do you listen to music every day?
Yeah, probably. By the time I add up the car and I normally have it on if I'm like in the shower and stuff, getting ready. Sometimes like, I don't know, an hour maybe.
Yeah, probably. I'd say 2 or 3. Like we listen a lot in the evenings. And
It's just playing at the house.
Yeah, I'll go in and wake my daughter up, and she wants Taylor Swift on, so that's how she gets out of bed every day. So
I see. That's not. We don't. Do you have a lot of music in your house
Yeah.
like that? 2-3 hours playing songs.
Yeah. So like
by the
Sunday, yeah. I mean, we
pool. Yeah, ask me again when the pool's open and that number's
yeah,
gonna go
that's
up.
true.
Yeah, we stream a lot. But even like during the day, like all day Sunday, we had like just YouTube like music playing like all day long. And several times like I walked by the TV and it was like, "Are you still listening?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." Like it just kind of plays all day. We in the mornings for the kids come downstairs, I always have the Alexa playing something. 90s pop this morning. It was Disney songs like. So we try to. When I was a kid, we never had music playing in the house. I don't know why. So
I didn't either, really. And I remember the first time I went to a friend's house, and his family lived out in Long Island, and they were playing, I think it was like Springsteen during dinner. I thought it was the most bizarre moment of my life. My dad, if I had played music during dinner time, would have dragged me out of the kitchen and whipped me. And I thought, this is just weird. You know, you don't like stuff that's not aligned with your own perceived values. That now I do it all the time. Some of my very favorite music I listen to ever is I'd come home from work wanting to chill out, and that is to just put on a vinyl record of, I got some I always go back to. Like it's like jazz, like Miles Davis or Billie Holiday, stuff that's just really relaxing, soothing to me, and then cook dinner while that vinyl's playing in the house. That is, and then I leave it on during dinner. My dad would roll over in his grave if he knew I was playing music during dinner.
yeah,
He'd come get me.
we play a lot of music during meals. And never growing up was that the case. Last question. Name a famous person who has appeared on a T-shirt you've worn or you had a poster of them on your wall as a child.
My favorite poster I had as a child was a life-size poster of Isaiah Thomas when he was on the Pistons right before Jordan took over the NBA permanently. And I was like super big Isaiah guy. He's turned out to be not many people like him really, and I couldn't stand Jordan like that because he was the like huge threat to the Pistons. And I swear, man, as soon as they beat the Lakers that first time, I was like, this is the coolest guy I've ever seen in my life. And I've been all Jordan ever since. But as a kid, it was like a 6-foot Isaiah Thomas poster. I'd stand up next to it.
Interesting.
Nice.
Did you?
Nice. I was a NASCAR guy. As a kid, I was into NASCAR, and Ricky Rudd was my favorite. So
Ricky Rudd.
Callback, yeah.
The Tide car?
Tide Car just went in the Hall of Fame last year.
Wow, you guys really do know your racing, don't you?
I didn't watch a lot of sports growing up. NASCAR was, my dad watched NASCAR.
It was on every week, every Sunday at Grandma's house.
I don't know. Did you know that Aaron comes from a real racing family? Yeah, they were on TV commercials. For, stock car drag racing, different stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all true.
He'll have to tell you all about it sometime.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of questions to end on. Josh, what is one thing that you've learned recently that you feel is worth sharing, such as from a book, social media, news story, odd fact? Anything you've learned that piqued your curiosity lately?
I'm just starting the book, Good to Great. Mm-hmm. Good is the enemy of great. And I'm just early stages of that, but that's an interesting concept. That
we did that in book club.
Yeah.
So
one early takeaway that's stuck in your brain, or have you not got that far?
I haven't got that far yet, but yeah, I'm curious to see where that goes.
Okay, well, final question. Any final words of wisdom or any message that you would like to leave us with today?
I will say Village Caregiving is going to be honored at the Little League World opening day. Sorry, get my words out. Opening day, which is going to be cool. I think that maybe you'll throw the first pitch, or Matt or someone is going to throw the first pitch.
I just don't want the attention, man.
Yeah.
Like,
this is.
it's such a I want attention and I don't, but he's asking me to do this.
Yeah. It's going to be a way to honor, because I know for like at least 8 years they've sponsored. We sponsored down there, so the league. My wife's on the board, and DeRose is on the board. Several are in the league, and so it's gonna be fun. I think it's going to open it up and invite everybody from the campus over, and be a fun day. So
it will be, and I played there too. Mm-hmm. It is dear to my heart.
Mm-hmm. Is there a chance that we could get him brought in on a helicopter by chance, land him out there on home on?
How about
the mound?
We could bring in a Porsche,
something like that. If we could just do something that really could just make sure the media is there too, if you don't care.
Yeah.
Big day.
Yeah, let's do that. Perfect. Thank you, Josh, for everything. Yeah. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks.
Look forward to a bright, successful future for all of us, I hope.
Yes.
Well, that's 101 of them, guys.
Cheers.
There you go.
Cheers. End of season 1.